Welcome to the Unofficial Controller Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast, episode number 285. With me, George, and this week joined by the only person that matters in the UCP universe, and that's the awesome me. Yeah, that's right. To be fair, as I said last time I did a solo, the boys have pulled a shift. RGT's now got his holiday. Scotty's got some computer issues. Seb was available, but I wasn't. Behind the scenes, daughter's away to university this weekend, so it's all been a bit fraught. Went to see a new Downton movie yesterday. This is unusual for a video game podcast, George. Bear with me. Went to see a Downton movie, got to say, as you know. Big supporter of the film. Julian Fellows, UCP. Massive fan. Discord section, very active, more active than all the other sections. There's a Downton Abbey section. So if you're listening thinking, oh, I want a slice of that, you know where to go. Anyway, with all that said, this weekend obviously didn't work out to get all the presenters in one place because we're a bit busy. So, you know, never wanting to let you down. Yeah, listener, yeah, you. You've never had a readout on the show, and we don't know who you are. But every single week you tune in. And I'm talking to you this time. Stay anonymous if you want to, but I love you. And the vast majority of you are anonymous, so whatever it is I need to do to bring you out the woodwork, fair play to you. Now we want to George and all this life update nonsense. No one actually cares. They're just sort of paying mild tribute to it, so they can get to the video game dribble. You're absolutely right. Here we are. So what are you playing, George? Well, not a lot. I've talked previously about my situation as a backseat gamer. And I'll be honest, it's been a strange situation to find myself in. Rachel's addiction to Persona 4, which, for the record, let's get it out there now, she's finished, front to back. Absolutely outstanding effort. I have to doff my cap to her, really. I looked up, saw the titles floating up the screen at a god-awful time in the morning. I didn't even say night or evening there, did I? No. Let that be a reference for you. And I was like, wow, you've done it. I'm like, yeah, well, I was really enjoyed that. I was like, great. In the meantime, George has been getting by, dusted off the Vita. I know. Okay. I dusted off the Vita, had a quick sort of rumble on that for a couple of days. A little bit of Helldivers 1. Still interested, but obviously don't hold a candle to 2 anymore. I've also got the downloaded a game called Iconoclasts on there, which was quite fun actually, a little Metroidvania. I think I got it in a PSN monthly game probably many years ago now. I was just scrolling through things I hadn't really played on the Vita that I might have missed out on, and Iconoclasts was one of them. So maybe give that another go. I downloaded many weeks ago for the PS5, 4, call it what you like, PlayStation, family of consoles, a game called Organ Trail. Now, I hope this would be like a nice, not nice, but like a fun take on the Oregon Trail with zombies. It's not quite that. There are elements of the Oregon Trail there, but mostly I'm not feeling that at all. It's a similarly based text, simple graphic-based adventure, but some of the stuff that goes on the screen, like there's like an Atari 2600 looking section where green screen, you're a guy behind a thing trying to shoot. There's a bit where I had to go hunting. You end up kind of walking around shooting things like out of a Jeff Minter game, if I'm honest with you, but nowhere near as good. And there was no sort of mortar to hold the bricks together, so I bounced off that quite quickly, to be honest with you. If you've played Organ Trail, I'd love to hear from you. Maybe I'm getting the wrong end of the stick, right? Played some MLB 14 on the Vita. I'm not going to labour that too hard. It looked like a watercolour painting, to be fair, but still enjoyable. Still MLB. I did mess around with the settings in it, though, and then ended up like not really been able to play it properly. I need to reset the whole game, I believe, which I'm down for. You know, the Vita only gets dusted off once in a blue moon now. One thing I picked up recently, acquired a couple of them, one of them which I'll be sending to RGT, as I said to him on the phone, to reawaken your most latent software library and entertainment collection. It's a USB-C, or whatever the cool kids are calling the latest USB gizmo that we all have to use because someone in the EU said that would be a good idea. USB-C to PSP adapter. And I know it took me a while to come to that conclusion, but, you know, I'm on my own. I haven't got anyone to bounce off. Bear with me. That long pause certainly made you look down at your stereo and your iPod player and all that business. Think, is this broke or is George having a stroke? It was the latter. Anyway, so I've got one of those going out, so I'm hoping this weekend, this is more what you're hoping to play, but I'm including it here, to maybe dust off some PSP, get the back catalogue out. One of the annoyances with the PSP was I had to take around its bespoke charger everywhere. What I'm actually excited about is just being able to throw that in the bag, knowing that I've got about 8 plus USB-C cables loose in my bag at any point in time. So that's a positive in my mind. So that makes that more portable. And a portable, whatever you believe, brings it certainly kicking and screaming into 2025. No, I'm not going to hack it. Well, maybe. I've got a few. Maybe I could hack one. Maybe I could hack a Vita. I keep threatening the idea. Every now and then I go and preach to Bada Binkster about, yes, show me the way, my lord. Show me how we do this. Show me how to become a good PSP user or Vita user. And then I bottle it. I don't know why. It's not as though I'm short games for these devices. Anyway, let's kick this along in the what you've been playing section to where I've been spending an awful lot of my time. Now, there's a couple of stories wrapped up in this, but No Man's Sky, the continuing story of that, since I've had it, I've never been one to chase to the centre of the universe, but 8 years on, 9 years on, damn near 10 years on, I thought it might be the prudent thing to do. I've always been slowly inching towards it, but more often than not, find a little solar system that I'm happy to chill in for a while. And everything is great. Research the latest tech, whatever the latest update is, get a little bit into that. This Corvette update has completely flipped everything on its head. I just want to be in the game all the time. I want to drag this broken-ass Corvette, which, by the way, for some reason, every time I put it in warp, it glitches its doors open. You got to wonder that's not probably the safest thing, but No Man's Sky don't normally worry about the exposure to outer space because you're never out your spacesuit. I've got a little bit of my own lore for that. No Man's Sky, in the fact that I'm actually controlling an avatar out there in space. And they have these, and the game kind of hints towards it, these kind of like travelers that are sort of lodged in these semi-robotic bodies. And what we're doing and playing is actually moving that character around. Now, the graphics is, oh, yeah, but the graphics aren't real life, George. Well, no, they're not, because this is the best representation of that universe we can get from 12 billion light years away. Just that's how my brain works. I always say the stories rewrite in the game are more exciting than the game itself. And there you go. In a big sandbox world, I'll make up a story and that's it. So, like I say, there are threads that I've pulled on from the No Man's Sky universe to make it more believable to me. And within the in-game universe. But there you go. There's what a crazy man does when he's left with their... There's what a Persona 4 widower does when he's up against it. Also, to play this, these are the side rambles before we get to the main cut and thrust of the situation. The Corvette update has worked tremendously well in terms of opening up the universe to me and making it interesting. Now, obviously, being a Portal widower, that's sort of precluded me because we've got a PS4 Pro at Rachel's that we can do remote streaming on or use the Portal. 9 times out of 10, I'll use the Portal. And for the longest time, it was flawless. But as the Switch 2 came out, kind of got left in a box. But as I say, this Corvette update completely changed everything. And now I just want to be playing it all the time. And what's that got to do with the Portal, George? Well, that's my medium to play it. But I've been having some issues with it. It's not been connecting very well, and I actually put that down to Rachel playing the Switch 2. I've got no confirmation of it, but I somehow think that the Switch 2's controller, or the Switch 1 Pro controller via the Switch 2, might be operating on the same bandwidth as the Portal. I might be wrong. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. But when I swapped seats with her on the sofa, worked perfectly. I have been home and done some tweaks. When I got the PS5 Pro, I assumed it would have all the same reports and addresses and all that sort of stuff. It's stupid of me to think that, because it wasn't true. So I've been back into the Pro, rejigged all its settings. I'll be honest with you, it just generally works a lot better now. I've slapped it in a DMZ, port's fully open. If you want to come and hack my PS5, knock yourself out, mate. All I want to do is play Portal miles away, and this has enabled it to happen. Yes, I've put the PS5 in danger. No, I don't really care. If I wake up to find it's running Linux tomorrow morning, you got to move with it, haven't you? You got to move with the times. I guess I'll be a PC player. Anyway, the Corvette update, me wanting to play it, Portal story aside, also had an issue with the earbuds, which I need to update today. Don't let me forget that, listeners. George, earbuds, update them. You're right, because they were drifting in and out as well. You see, you don't update these devices for a little while, and all of a sudden nothing works. Very strange, but can report now everything working flawlessly. Looking really good as well. So I'm very pleased about the way that's gone. One could argue, George, you won't get a PC because you don't want to do C:\\. But you spent an hour typing similar garbage into a PlayStation, your online router, and ultimately in the end a Portal as well. If that's not full nerd, keyboard in hand, I don't know what is. In my defense, Sony, it should just be plug and play. It should just be plug and play. And let's face it, for the most part, it's probably like in America where we're all Wi-Fi'd up to the eyeballs. We've got fiber optics in our eyes, coming out of our poop chutes, the whole lot. We are literally the Matrix. That's great. Might work flawlessly there, or even Japan. But in the UK, where it barrels down a fiber optic wire and then has to make its way across a Victorian-era copper wire that's probably degraded over the last 200 years to the point where it's next to useless. Yeah, that's what we're dealing with here. And I think that's exactly the infrastructure I'm dealing with. So it's a miracle I'm getting anything on the screen. And really, that's for the bulk of it, really what I've been playing. Like I say, I'm kind of intrigued now to slap Persona 5 in there. Persona 4 is a great game. I've always enjoyed it myself, but Persona 5 is just that much slicker. The animation, the interweaving menus, just the slickness of it. It's all very immediate. I just think it's a slight notch up, if that's even possible, from 4. Well, it is, obviously, because everybody raves about 5. I think 4 got a bit forgotten, but yeah, 4's a legend, but I'm looking forward to see Rachel get stuck into 5. I think she'll find some enjoyment from it. She screamed that she wants a palate cleanser. My girl, can't go back to back on two similar games. It'd be a bit much, wouldn't it? Because it all just melds into one. So a little bit of silliness, I think, for us both. Bit of PS2, maybe. I've also dusted that off again. I was thinking about, been playing some WWE, SmackDown versus Raw, the one after No Here Comes the Pain. I love it. I can't get enough of it. It's absolute garbage. It is. It's 20 years old. It's got a tiny little roster with barely any legends. Create ends up with people looking cross-eyed, very close together eyes in Create, unless you span them apart, but they look like a chameleon. Never a happy medium. I actually went on a website and looked at Creative Wrestlers from 2006, and I'll tell you what, the game has certainly elevated itself. I watched what looked like a fake Stone Cold on a Creative Wrestler video from, really, YouTube's embryonic times. Hey, we all need a hobby, don't we? I've been doing a bit of that, and for some reason I felt compelled to pull down Echo the Dolphin, the Dreamcast game that got a PS2 release. Felt compelled to pull that down, and well, at least put it on the pile of things I want to muck about with. Not necessarily play indefinitely to the end, but certainly experiment with. Anyway, I think I've rambled enough. Heck, I even gave you what felt like a 2-hour pause while I remembered that I was talking about my PSP adapter. Apologies for that. Am I going to edit it out, make it slick and save myself from the embarrassment? No, I'm not, because I'm a real person. Much like you listening, you're real people. And that's why we have this sort of sinuous bond across the internet. We're real. And shocked as well to find out that we're listened in 98 countries across the world, in damn near 4,000 cities. One could argue we do all right for ourselves, but I'm the last one to bang the drum. Now we scour the very darkest regions of the internet to bring you the latest news. First up, obviously there was a big PlayStation Nintendo Direct, and it went reasonably well, I would imagine, by the barometer, which is the internet, which is the summarised voices of only the people that can be bothered to type in on the internet. You can see that the slice of pie is quite slim. Anyway, we scour the very darkest region of the internet to bring you the latest stories. First up, now I want to talk about this USA top 20 PlayStation games of all time. May surprise you. I heard Sammy Barker's been busy over on Push Square, sort of gathering up these games via the medium of a tweet from the analyst, Matt Piscatella, a bit of a legend in the industry. And I wanted to bring this here really to form a discussion point, because it's arranged in the table 1 down to 20, as I previously said. And it's arranged on the left-hand side via dollars made, and on the right-hand side via units made. And these things don't tie up. I'm not going to do all 20. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. Maybe we're just going to bounce through this and you'll see how money made doesn't always equal units sold. And so this is a reporting period from January 1995 to July 2025. Certainly interesting. So in at number 1, it's no surprise, in both dollars and units, we've got Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 2, we've got Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Now, number 2 on units, Minecraft. Now, proving me wrong, we've got Red Redemption, pal!
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Ever wondered what a rhythm-based stealth game with dinosaurs might look like? Or a farming sim in space with zombies? Welcome to the Gaming Blender podcast. I'm Matt, and with my co-host Scott, we take a random game genre and random game mechanics, blend them all up, and pitch wild, totally hypothetical games you've never heard of, and maybe shouldn't. New episodes every other week. Hit play and unleash your inner game dev. No coding required. Search the Gaming Blender on your favorite podcast app now.
Red Dead Redemption 2, it's in at $3. Not $3, but in terms of its position on the board of monies made, and in units made, we also see the recognition of Red Dead Redemption 2. Fascinating, George. What's next? Well, number 4, we got Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the 2022 version. It's at 4 on dollars made, but on units sold, we've got Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. In at 5, we've got another stalwart. We've got Call of Duty Black Ops 6. So good they made 6 sequels. But it's beaten out on units at the 5 slot by Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. George, glad you talked about this. It's not tying up the way we thought it would. No. Number 6, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, made the 6th largest amount of dollars. But in terms of 6th largest amount of units sold, got Marvel's Spider-Man. Now, in at 7 on dollars, don't forget up at 2 on units was Minecraft, but down at 7 on dollars is Minecraft. It's been pegged. It's been held at this position on units by Call of Duty Black Ops 3. In at 8, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 on dollars made. On units sold, it's equidistant to Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. In at 9, now we talked about this on units sold up at number 4, but in at 9 we've got Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It's equal on dollars made in its position at 9th as Grand Theft Auto Vice City is at 9th on units sold. We've got number 10, we've got on dollars made, we've got Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock. On units, we've got Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2022. Do you remember he was up at 4 on dollars made earlier? And just to balance it off, at 11, we've got Marvel's Spider-Man, which was on dollars, on units, number 6. And Call of Duty Black Ops 6 has got its mark in terms of units. Now, I wanted to bring this up because it was fascinating to me to see this laid out in this graph, in this table form. Because first of all, you read and you think makes sense. GTA 5, COD Modern Warfare 2. Hang on a minute, COD Modern Warfare's done X amount of dollars, but it's all the way down there at number 5 on units. But it's been insanely profitable. Now, I don't know whether these stats involve DLC or cosmetics or anything like that, but obviously Red Dead Redemption 2 matching its dollars made on the table to its units shifted is interesting. But the one that caught my eye at number 4 and at number 9, respectively, on units sold is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and Grand Theft Auto Vice City in at 9. Now, these games are aged, but they have continued to sell, one would imagine. One notable absence from here, though, GTA 4. My personal favourite, yes, of course, it was never going to be able to stand toe-to-toe with 5. 5 became the mega beast, but before 5 came along, it was all about 4. Yet it's not on this list at all. And Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is 4th on units sold, 9th on dollars made. I think what this metric shows is it don't matter how many units you sell, depends how much money you've made. And certainly in dollars, just to run them through the last sections, 18 and 19 are held up by Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Miles Morales. Now, these are PlayStation games from 1995 to July 2025. Where's your Final Fantasies? Last of Us only appears on here 13th for dollars made, falling under Spider-Man Miles Morales. Just when you think you knew what was happening, you had no idea. Very important metric to look at. I implore you all to go hunt it down. If you want to find the original, it's on this Blue Sky nonsense. Matt Biscatella's over there, and he said, "Happy birthday, PlayStation. First release September 9th, 1995. And then he's gone from Jan 95 to July 2025. Sakana's retail tracking service based on dollars sold versus units sold. And I like I say, it's an interesting metric. Some of it made up by lower sales prices, but the whole thing on balance is fascinating to me, and I hope you found it interesting looking through it. Like I say, go look at it with your own eyes, because that's where you're going to pull out your own points of interest, I'm sure. Just out the corner of my eye, we don't see on dollars made one reference to Elder Scrolls Skyrim, but on the right-hand side under dollars, we see it crept in at number 15. Unbelievable. God of War 2018 doesn't feature on dollars made at all, not one bit, yet you find it sat in units squarely at number 14 on the list, behind Miles Morales, behind Last of Us, and behind God of War. Hey, that takes some figuring out. Message in, I want to chat with you. If I've never heard from you, I would love even more to hear from you about what you make of that and what's your opinion and take. Maybe there's something I miss. It's certainly interesting to find out. Now, at the start of the news, before I had another, I think I've suffered too many strokes during this episode. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, George. Do not worry about it. Actually, the listeners have recorded 4. That's fine. I obviously forgot one of them. But it was the Nintendo Direct. And I'll be honest with you, there was plenty to talk about, not only for Switch 2, but for Switch 1 as well. So we're going to do a quick round robin of everything that went on in Nintendo Direct September 2025. Let's have a look. So At the top, we got a load of non-gaming announcements about the new Mario movie, the Mario Brothers 40th anniversary announcements, stuff going on with the Nintendo Museum, all that good stuff coming up in April 2026, which then perfectly, much like this show, stitched together by an expert craftsman, segued into the drop of Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. Now, I'm not going to go too deep onto this, but I do believe they're slightly improved on the 3D Mario All-Stars version that we got of 1. Hopefully everything's. I think there's even mention of a Switch 2 get a version as well, where it's got even more of an uplift. But just to put your mind at rest, it's the enhanced resolution, improved UI, assist mode, and new storybook content, which, you know, you needed to see something, didn't you, dear listener? We're also going to get Mario Tennis Fever on the Switch 2. That's coming out on the 12th of February 2026 for those eagle listeners that notice I didn't mention anything at Mario Galaxy Pack. Well, that's coming out on 2nd of October this year. It's going to come bundled with an amiibo as well, if you want it. If not, then don't. Mario Brothers Wonder Nintendo Switch 2 edition plus meetup in Bellabelle Park spring 2026. Really great, and also they showed, much in the same vein as the alarm clock they brought out recently, we're going to get a physical talking flower based on this. I don't know what it's called, but the character from Super Mario Wonder, the sort of shouting flower. Great news in the surprise announcement for me anyway of Yoshi and the Mysterious Book on Switch 2 coming in spring 2026. Certainly hadn't heard anything about that myself. Storm Lancers on the Switch 1. Shadow Drop, bam, it's out right now. You and your friend just crash landed on an alien planet, harbouring a secret source of powerful magic. All of reality is on the verge of collapse, and two magical creatures have chosen you as their heroes to save the planet. You'll fight, die, and bond with Storm Hearts to rise again. To be honest, it sounds a bit like Captain Planet. It doesn't, but that's the vibe I got, where these magical creatures have chosen for you. George, you're rambling. What's next? Dinkum on the Switch 1. Build your own dream town on a remote island inspired by the Australian outback, mate. In Dinkum, shape your life through farming, foraging, mining, crafting, and raising animals, all at your own pace. Colour RGT interested immediately, as Ian will be exploring biomes full of wildlife. Kangaroos, basically, and the duck-billed platypus, the koala bear, the emu. There's a few. Gather rare resources, customise your home, turn your tent into a thriving community, play solo or with friends, up to 4-player online, and local wireless co-op on Nintendo Switch. Your Outback-inspired island life is always within reach. Populcom on the Switch 1 coming out this year, holiday 2025. Summer to an unknown planet, you and your friends embark on a grand adventure through fantastical where colours play a crucial role. It's key to everything, and you must master the techniques of colour switching and match 3 shooting to overcome puzzles and defeat enemies. A little bit of Tamagotchi life, living the dream on Switch 1. Create a customised crew of quirky Mii characters and help them live their best lives when Tamagotchi Life Living the Dream releases in spring 2026 on Nintendo Switch 1. See, I told you I had plenty to get your teeth into. Something else for you to get your teeth into if you got a Switch 1 and a Switch 2 is Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, coming on the 30th of October 2025. Could you ask for any more? I very much doubt it. Up next, some of the big news. It's the Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate. It comes with caveats though, George. Good ones. 22nd of January 2026. Ooh, the first entry in a Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy brings its iconic city of Midgar to life. Time to experience it all again on the Switch, along with the 2 other parts, the mid part and the third part yet to be released anywhere. It was a PlayStation exclusive. Business just picked up, and it's now going to be on everything, including your fridge. Up next, this is how I pronounce LinkedIn, but LinkedIn, Banner of the Spark. Switch 1 and 2 also dropped on the 12th of September. Rebuild the world one robot at a time. LinkedIn, Banner of the Spark, is a vibrant roguelike RPG where you battle rogue machines, fight alongside a crew of robot alloys called Unibots between missions, fish, farm craft, and help grow your town with up to 5 friends. I'll be honest, that looks great. I may grab that. Another banging announcement that Nintendo just sort of shuffled out with. Now, if you thought, oh, well, I loved Hades on my Switch, but when the sequel comes out, don't worry about it, pal. Hades 2 confirmed for Switch 1 and 2. Confirmed as exclusive, baby. Confirmed as an exclusive. Timed, admittedly, but wow, Nintendo thrust their hand in their wallet. Guess what? Kirby Air Riders news. Gonna get an amiibo. From what I've heard, it's the most expensive amiibo they've ever made. But you're going to get 2 straight out Kirby Air Riders, which is, you would imagine, amazing news. The Bandana Waddle Dee and Winged Star, Kirby and Warp Star, also available. A little bit of news about the world of Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, coming out on the Switch 2. Again, great news. Nice to see that extended and pushed further on. Dragon Quest 7 reimagined. Oh, George, I'm not going to get this on my Switch 1. Yes, you are. Nintendo won't leave you hanging, pal. Switch 1 and 2 confirmed. Looks beautiful. Really, really gorgeous. Very happy with what I saw on that, so excited to find out more and get my teeth into it, hopefully February. Virtua Boy Nintendo Classics confirmed. Switch 1 and 2. No, Ninty, I'm not trolling you with this, but you got to think they maybe are. So, Nintendo Classics, George, Virtual Boy, isn't that amazing? Isn't that great? It is, yeah. But don't forget, you're going to need the premium tier of Nintendo's online expansion pass. Not that one, the one that's more than that. Yeah, that one. Yeah, I pay it. I don't think it's that egregious, to be fair. Do I get the full utilisation out of it? No. But if I want to go play Donkey Kong Country in my bed for 10 minutes without getting a myriad of wires out, yeah, I do it on the Switch too. Now, that's all well and good. All the big classics. Did Virtual Boy need to be on here? Did it though, Ninty? Okay, you've put it on, fair play to you, but you're not going to lock this behind... You've locked it behind a paywall. Yeah, you have, but it's not that egregious. What do you mean you've locked it behind someone else? You wouldn't, you couldn't, you shouldn't. Okay. People are going to have to either buy a plastic piece of tack to stick their Switch in and have it looking like a Virtual Boy. And let's face it, there's more Virtual Boys sat on shelves than ever been played. Oh, I'm a big collector. Oh, so you got the Virtual Boy. It's confirmed. You're going to have to now go buy a piece of plastic tack that looks like a Virtual Boy that you slot the Switch into. I think you can get a Virtual Boy for that money. Or you can look like the guy that should have tried harder in GCSE French and rock up with the cardboard version. The cardboard version. For 25 quid. Ninty, hold my beer. Look at me go. Origami King. As soon as I seen one of these unfolded into a net, as they used to call it in CDT. What's CDT, guys? Of course, I'm preaching to Gen Z. That's where we did. Well, I was sold on the concept we'd be doing design technology, but I spent 4 years cooking salads and making a pencil case. The only time I ever was allowed in the room, any of us were ever allowed in the room to do anything with wood, we watched our teacher hand-cut 30 pieces of fiberboard because the bandsaw was dangerous, so we did all of them, but we had to watch. And then I designed a bone. We had to make a clipboard, and we had to make the clip, which used friction to clip onto this piece of board that we'd watch teacher cut, and then would hold paper on the board. Now, I decided to do a bone. Obviously, in CDT, they put you through the rigmarole of, oh, George, come up with a design. Oh, it's this one. Oh, come up with 2 others that are garbage that you're not going to do, so it looks like that you've chosen the one that you chose from the start. Oh, right, okay, here's a garbage drawing of someone else, and here's a garbage drawing of someone else. Brilliant, George. Okay, now, a bone has 2 quite strong-looking features at the end of it. We all know, we've seen a bone, you close your eyes, you imagine what a bone looks like. Now, unfortunately, over an 11-year-old boy's... Yeah, you know where this is going. It had to be folded over. I did not realise this would look like a shaft and two balls. So there's the sum total of what I made in CDT. Now you know what it is. Now you can be grateful that you don't have to go through that experience. Yeah, it's all good. So there's your Virtual Boy news. It launched me into a vicious segue and possibly another mini stroke. That's 6 now for the people that are counting. George, what about the other 2? I snuck them under your nose, to be honest. Fatal Frame 2, Crimson Butterfly remakes, also coming to the Switch 2 in early 2026. They've got so much packed in to not only the back end of this year, but the beginning of next, that I'm going to go on record. This was a bloody strong showing, to be fair. Yes, there wasn't probably something in it for me, but I think for the vast majority of everybody else, there's some good stuff in here, and we haven't finished yet, so... One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, Nintendo Switch 2 edition, fall 2025. Snuck that in, didn't see that coming, did you? Overcooked 2, Nintendo Switch 2 edition, also coming holiday 2025, so something for you to fall out with Mumsy about after Christmas dinner. Stardew Valley, getting its own bespoke Nintendo Switch 2 edition, so RGT's walking around with a midriff looking like a teepee. Fair play to old boy. In fact, his good lady wife, Don Don's, is probably going to be equally as... not as excited in the same way physically, but certainly in her own way. Both of them getting a little bit moist, one would say. Human Fall Flat Nintendo Switch 2 edition, spring 2026, as if you didn't think you needed a Switch 2 version of this. Bad boy, you got it. Power Wash Simulator 2, coming to the Switch 2 fall 2025. Is there any more this system could get? Suka Game Planet, that's coming out on the Switch 1 and Switch 2. Don't worry, still plenty for you Switch 1 owners in this direct. Metroid Prime 4, coming to the Switch 1 and 2 on 4th of December 2025. I think this is going to be a great game. I don't know if it's got enough fan metric to move the needle for Ninty as a Mario game, but absolutely great guns that we're getting it. Absolutely great guns that they're honouring the Switch 1 with its presence as well. I don't think they needed to, especially, as I say, with Samus being a little bit more of a niche character in the Nintendo portfolio, but certainly exciting to see. Now, something that OG Tom rang me up and predicted, and I poo-pooed him and says it's too soon. They don't need to drop DLC for this because it's already doing great. So why push it now when you can push it when it's starting to flag a little bit like early part of next year? No, said Ninty. No, don't worry about it. Here we go with the Donkey Kong Bonanza DK Island and Emerald Rush DLC. Just so everyone knows what that is. It's meet some friendly faces on DK Island and race to fill quotas for the Void Company in Emerald Rush with this paid DLC. Stealth dropped it as well, didn't they? That's also out now as you listen to this episode. One that got a lot of people excited is the Pokemon Pokopia. Play as Ditto, transformed into a human, and shape an empty land into a beautiful home for Pokemon in Pokemon Pokepia. Looked a little bit of a cross between Sonic Adventures Chow Garden, Chaos Garden, call it what you like. I don't know if they're Chows or Chaos to this day. I guess they're Chaoses, little Chaoses. Maybe they're Chows. You tell me. Anyway, cross between that and Minecraft and Pokemon, and you got yourself Pokemon Pokopia. To be fair, Pokopia could be a posh name for an orgy, but we're going to leave it there. Pokemon Legends ZA also got a trailer. Nintendo Switch 2 edition, Switch 1 edition, don't worry. The biggest franchise is not leaving you behind, although you would argue it'd be a great time that they could use this to push the Switch 2. They're not getting greedy, which is nice to see. Danganronpa 2x2 on the Switch 1 and 2 coming in 2026. Beautiful to see this. Great sort of visual novel games for anyone to enjoy. Dynasty Warriors Origins coming to the Switch 2 2020. George, my son. It's coming to the Switch 2 on the 22nd of January 2026. Again, looks great. It's not for me. but 1 versus 1,000 action never gets boring, right? Right? Amazing. And Monster Hunter Stories 3, Twisted Reflection. Take to the skies in this thrilling story-rich turn-based RPG set in the world of Monster Hunter. So a bit of a different take. Certainly one to keep people busy between big games. We also got slapped up the side of the face with a partner sizzle reel, which had such high hitters as 2 Point Museum, a game I'm actually quite excited about, Desegia 7, EA Sports FC 26, Dragon Quest 1, 2 HD 2D remake to go along with the other remake that we've already talked about, Virtua 5 Revo World Stage, Switch 2, just down as this winter. Lego Voyagers coming to Switch 1 and 2, 15th September. Little Nightmares 3. Creeping and crawling its way onto the Switch 1 and 2, 10th of October 2025. Rachel! Happy talk about Persona 3 Reload on Switch 2 coming on the 23rd of October 2025. I miss that. I did miss that. And I've been on Amazon recently looking at the PS5 version. So good news, my love. Also, one that didn't leave me in any doubt that Nintendo's not mucking about this time. Obviously, we've got a lot of the Resis on the Switch. We've got Zero. Again, I was talking to OG Tom about this for some reason. I've got 0 and 1. I don't have the remakes on there, 2 and 3. And I'm not getting them on there and doing them on the cloud. Absolutely no way. I'm not. Even if it's great, I'm not. That's what stopped me getting Kingdom Hearts on Switch. Cloud version, even of 1. Jesus. Nah. That ain't happening. Anyway, I've got 4 on there, and I've got the remake of that as well, kicking around somewhere. I've got 5 and 6 on Switch as well. And now we're going to be able to have 7, 8, and Requiem. If you didn't know it, Switch just became the home of Resi. I know the others are already the home of Resi, but it's an interesting selection and something that hasn't gone by me unnoticed. So, yeah, fair play for managing to get the whole set there, Ninty. Resident Evil Requiem is the 9th title in the mainline Resident Evil series. Prepare to escape death in a heart-stopping experience that will chill you to your core. A new era of survival horror begins in 2026. Technological advancements combined with the development team's depth of experience combine in a story with rich gameplay and characters that are more immersive than ever before. Fire Emblem's Fortune's Weave came out on the Switch 1 and 2, or revealed for the Switch 1 and 2, coming out in 2026. The newest entry in the Fire Emblem series is set to enter the arena. Now, you can see why I thought that was bloody good, because the list of games is a mile long. Now, how would you rate that list? Was it good for you? Now, there wasn't a great deal in it for me. It wasn't as though every game came up and I went banger, but every game that came up I went, fair play, see why it's here. I understand there's an audience for that. But how did you rate Nintendo's Direct? Got to ask you, did it get an A+ from you like it did from me? Or are you going to mark this one down as, I just wish they'd announced something else? If that's the case, then I guess it wasn't for you. Like I say, I can see something in there, even if it wasn't directly for me. And I'm certainly excited about how they are pushing the little console that could along a little bit. I guess make hay while the sun shines, while it's technically kind of on a level. Kind of. I'm being generous. Because we're rapidly approaching Xbox Next. We're rapidly approaching what one can only imagine is going to be called PS6. Rumours abound that it might be segueing into some form of a hybrid, or possibly you buy another thing. It's PlayStation, you buy another thing and clag it on the side for another 500 quid probably. Sign me up, obviously. I'm all in for this debauchery. Yeah, so Nintendo's sort of USP it had secured for itself, which I'd say maybe PlayStation tried to erode with the Portal. Good attempt. Certainly got a high attach rate versus PS5. And Xbox obviously seen a little bit of that with their relationship with, is it Asus? For the themed Xbox remote player stroke streaming device. So we're hinting as gamers that this is the direction we want to go in. I know I've made a very big noise, but in 12 months from now, maybe I won't be traveling as much as I am. Maybe the Switch 2 will be relegated to the cupboard under the stairs, God forbid. And we're back sat on the sofa, fat, dumb and happy, playing our big boy games. It's interesting. And, you know, with Rachel's preoccupation with the Switch 2 lately, the Portal showed me a couple of its foibles in that, yeah, I must have got lucky. And I'm lucky again because I've done the hard yards in setting it up. But it certainly reawakened me to the PS5 ecosystem again a little bit. I think that it was easy for me to kind of get dragged to the Switch 2 and be all in on it. Just the convenience, you know, watching a bit of telly. Oh, fine, I'll play it in handheld mode. Not that I sound like a normal person. I know when I talk about, I realise the last few times I've mentioned the Switch 2 and they can do this and there and everywhere. Like, hang on, George, you're an addict. No, I'm not at all. I love a bit of TV as well and all the other entertainments that people are into and going out and socialising. And like I say, top of the show. Got 2 kids to look after and a new wife. Not that she needs looking after. She does looking after me. But anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed that news. Bit of a rambly one from me. It was always going to be this way. Probably a mental health warning at the front of the episode to make sure no one was too surprised by this. But we find ourselves now at the section where I probably need to beg you. And I'm going to beg, if I'm being honest with you. 5 years I've been here grinding out. Now you could say, George, yeah, you get the equidistant return for the quality you put out. And you're not wrong. But I want to know you. I want to see you. I want to smell you. I've been talking to you 5 years, goddammit. Stop being a stranger to me. You probably know more about me than myself. You probably know when I'm going to leave a pregnant pause and cough before I even do. If that's the case, bare minimum, reach out to me on some form. You tune in every week. You must have something that I must be saying something you're remotely interested in. Let me be interested in you. I want to be. Speaking to yourself or RGT or Scotty or Seb or Bobby or OG Tom, that's all well and good, but we're actually preparing a show for you, dear listener. And I would just love to hear from you. One of the oldest silent but violence. I dream of waking up one day to an email saying, long-time listener, first-time poster. This person's been on a journey, man, woman, and child. I love it. And I just want to meet more of you. If I've had an effect on you in some way to the fact that you tuned in one week and then the very next week you tuned in again, what's wrong with you? That's probably the reality you needed to get yourself off this sick, toxic train. But if it wasn't, I just want to meet you. I want to be able to thank you in person, basically. I'm not even begging for money. I'm just begging for you guys out there. Thousands of you in your silence is deafening. But I would love to hear from you so I can personally thank you mano a mano and also just bring you into the wider family. Now, I know that's not for everybody and social media is not for everybody. I tell you what, it's not for me either. I can barely get Discord working. Well, for myself. 2 Discord sheriffs, Bobo Ober and Digital Monkery, they do a fantastic job of keeping it going. But you sidetracked again, George. You're eroding your main message, and that's a very kind and loving one of, I just want to thank you. So reach out, email, questions@unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com, or jump on the Discord, there's a link in the Instagram, or just send me a DM on one of our socials. Love to hear from you. And then also so I can thank you for the time that you've given us over the last 5 years. Very, 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 very grateful. Now, be under no illusion that the next list of names I'm going to read out, and I've got to do a little bit of Discord homework while I'm there. I've got to post a picture. All will become apparent when you hear the episode. And now you're saying, now I see why George put that picture on there, so I can look at it while he's going on about those games. Yeah. So if you're on the Discord, that picture appeared right now. And right now, in this moment, you don't have the information that you're getting right now to say, why did George put that picture here? Now you hear this, you say, that's why he put that picture. Let me go back on the Discord. Let's have a look. To all those not on the Discord, you'll find that picture on the Blue Sky app. I want to encourage it. It's a bit of a dead social media. I went on there the other day to do something for the show and realised I was preaching to no one, which was a bit dismotivating, if I'm honest with you. But our main socials, Instagram and Twitter, reach out to us there, mainly Instagram on some days. Now, what we do have is we have a paid section where you can pay to support the show, and that's really beautiful and not enforced in any way. I don't say, oh, you've got to do this, that's a show or die, the show's always going to be free. Don't forget that. But if you do contribute, even at the lowest level, bare minimum, you're going to get your name read out. Bare minimum, you're going to get sent a t-shirt. It's okay. So I just need to pop in the host chat where we corral this list up, and here it is. Now, as I say, pay to support the show. One of the perks is you get your name read out at the end. And we are here at this point, listener. I'm sorry to say. When there's no one else, it's hard for me to bounce off. And I'll be honest, this is probably my weakest showing as a solo. Full marks for those who go back through the catalogue to find all my solos, listen to them, and then independently review them on the Discord and let me know which was the worst solo I've ever done. I would love to know. So let's get stuck in. I don't need an army of fans. Well, I do. But all I've got is a one-man fan club. And some would argue that's enough because he'll beat every other fan club up going. Declan Donnelly fan club, smash. Daniel O'Donnell fan club, smash. Beats him up. He's going to beat him up. He's not going to smash him. I don't know whether... Let's leave that there. I don't want to speak for Carlos. I don't want to sign him up for the Declan O'Donnell, Daniel O'Donnell club. All the double Ds, baby. Anyway, up next, I'll tell you what I was thinking about investing in. It was a fake croc company approached me, said, would you like to develop a UCP shoe? We're going to have these across the whole world. I was about to put in £2.8 million into R&D and firm returns. Appeared out of nowhere. Literally out of nowhere. Grabbed me very strongly because he's ripped. He's now called Rip Returns in my mind. But firm returns on his Twitter where you get all your legal and money advice. He grabbed me really strongly by the wrist. He said, don't do this. It's a scam. George, this is a scam. I know you portray me as being involved in shady dealings, but I'm not that guy. I'm that silent angel in the background that helps you make good financial decisions, not talk you into bad ones. And this is one of those moments where he came through. He stopped me from making a bad investment in the UCP Crocs. Equally so, if you want to see the UCP Croc, message me. I will get firm returns put in a court injunction, and he won't be able to stop us making the best shoe ever made. Up next, they do the finest buffalo wings in Queens. It's Trestles in New York, our home for an episode, and our second home during the American era when we recorded the show in New York. Next is the Immortal. He's the kind of man you go to when you've gorged yourself on full English on a Sunday morning. And you didn't think you had anything on that afternoon, and the phone rings, and it's Mumsy. And Mumsy says one thing, roast. And you're like, oh, God. I wish there was a religious man that could help me make space in my lower intestine for the Sunday roast. And guess what? There is. His name's Roast Space Monk. He's not only a physical health guru, but he's also really good at emptying his lower intestine. Make it out what you will. Up next, everybody. I have to be careful because the mic does not like me going full eye-tie. That's... I'm leaving it in because I want my pain and I want to be humiliated. Italian people don't like... I wouldn't like to think like to be called iTies, and one of our loyalist listeners, who is Italian, I just referred to as that. I can only apologise, Bada Everybody stand up, sir. And this is all because I was trying to whisper. Everybody stand down, sir. Ciao tutti. Stammi bene. Thank you, Bada. Up next, a man who, let's face it, when left to my own devices, I'll literally butcher everybody's name on him. And it's not on purpose. It's because, just like you, I'm a bumbling mess of nerves and skin. And I have absolutely no idea what I'm saying or doing from one moment to the next. Now, that might be an unregistered medical condition, but that's the set of systems I'm fighting through to get words out of my mouth, in this microphone, or down this wire, through the medium of the internet, probably through a cloud or three, up wirelessly, boom, straight into your earphones. Wow, George, that oomph actually felt like it travelled through time and space and electrical wires. Let's go on that journey all over again. Boom, straight in your ear. Think of the journey that word's been on. Anyway, side ramble aside, I butchered this man's name, so I'm just going to do him the due diligence of saying Tingle Tuner. Up next, the rootin' tootin' cowboy. I've got these two painted as the Discord sheriffs in my mind, so every week they're turning up, chewing on a matchstick with a hat tilted forward, looking dark, menacing, but with an edge of sexual attraction. It's Digital Monkery. Now, I've seen him doing a fun run. Actually, it's probably disrespectful to call it that. It was probably a half marathon. I didn't read the detail, but I saw him in his running gear holding a medal. I would imagine that's the sign of a good day's work. Well done to you. Up next, he's a man that has no need for head and shoulders because he just has a great-looking scalp. It's bald border. Up next, I think we can officially announce that he's going brown. That's not a... No, just that we've agreed between us, well, RGT and... Well, RGT went there pretty lawlessly last week, and I thought to myself, well, do you know what? I think it's fine. We're all adults. Going brown. Up next, a man who is... If this man was in the armed forces, any armed force across the world, he would put everybody else in redundancy. He would put every machine and weapon system in redundancy. But George, what if we faced a threat on land, sea, and air? Well, I'll tell you what. This guy would punch a tank on the turret and literally cripple it. He could front crawl across the North Sea and uppercut a Russian submarine into outer space. And he could just throw a very small piece of grit at a jet as hard as he could throw it. And it'd be like it being hit by the moon. That's the strength and latent power of my adopted red-headed stepson, Ginge. I loved him so much that even after separating from his... I'm being honest. She's not as good a mum as I am a dad. Okay? And he's not even mine. He's Brian from Quick Fits. But I love him more than both of them put together. He will always be my son. It's Ginge. It's quite the write-up, wasn't it? Bloody hell. Ginge. Just became a demigod. Demigods are all right, but I'll tell you one thing, they are not that great verses. And this might be Ginge's nemesis. Let's set this up going forward, because as strong and as powerful on the side of the light that Ginge is, every yin needs a yang. Every night needs a day. Every ebony, as Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson taught us, needs an ivory, baby. Sitting together in perfect harmony, side by side on piano, keyboard, baby, why don't we? Never, ever let me on my own again. His yang is Harvey Retro, Lord of Darkness. He's equally as strong, but he hides it under a veil of mystery and malevolence. Up next, I've got a verbal restraining order against me by Emma Must have been a fallout on the UCP World Tour somewhere. We're very grateful for you listening. We do have a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy it. Hopefully you can tell that we don't single any single person out. We literally rip the living snots out of everybody. But thank you, Emma. I will stay back. No problems. And OG Tom he's got a face covering, shackled to his head. He's no danger to you anymore. The threat has been removed. Removed from where, though, George? I'll tell you from nowhere the threat's been removed. Near Berlin. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Every week we try and come up with something different, but normally end up really only verging around the idea that it's nowhere near you. Sarah, nowhere near Berlin. Up next. You gotta love and you gotta hate it. Depends what time of the year it is, how old you are. It's Mumsy. Obviously close to Christmas, you can't get enough Mumsy. But on a cold February afternoon when she tells you to tidy your room, not so keen. The RGT fan club, the assembled masses of all of his family members, one would imagine. No, don't say that, George. Don't say that. It's not just family members. Okay, friends, close friends and family members make up the immortal RGT fan club. But thank you to each and every one of you. Yeah, but if all of you financially contributed separately, broke up the fan club, technically RGT could retire. Your love for him knows no bounds. I'll leave it with you. Up next, the only threat Ginge ever faced, and he punched through him so hard that, I'm sorry, Peter Brocklehurst, you just split in half. Like me punching an unripened mango. I don't know, a fruit that's going to obliterate. Tomato. Smash. It's very easy to say that word. But I think with great power comes great responsibility. After Pete Brocklehurst, we have the love him or hate him guy. It's the guy you love to hate. It's Billy Marmite. Next, and by no means least, Fat Zangief. Now, I'm going to method act this one. I've not Zangiefed in a while. I've been away with work. I've not felt comfortable to Zangief, anywhere other than my private chambers. I've come back to my private chambers. I've obviously on my own, because I'm recording on my own. If there was someone here, I'd force them to talk to you as well, so it wasn't just a bizarre ego trip for this weirdo from Lincoln. So I'm in my private chambers, all on my own, and you can be secure in the fact that I'm all on my own. And I've just realised that I'm a 46-year-old man. I'm in the house on my own. I've got my eyes on the swivel. I'm thinking, I'm going to crack myself for Zangief here. Why not? I'm not hurting anyone, am I? Religious connotations aside, I'm not hurting anyone. I've seen memes that suggest a kitten might die. But I think it's going to be okay. And I'll be honest with you, humans have been sacrificing things for years. So what? I'm on 365 kittens. I'm past caring. So I'm sat here, got a week about pressure, but nothing too crazy. Fat Zangief. Something tells me I might regret this episode. But do you know what? You've got to drive a wedge into your fan base at some point in time and either make them love him or hate you. But I think that's one of the big issues. I'm not polarising enough to get the clicks. Just this nice guy talking about a video game. George, you said nice guy, mate. About yourself. Have a word, pal. Talked about humility. You've got none. Anyway, this dude here. Dangerous. Let's kill it, okay? Let's get into what you've been playing. What you hoping to play. George, you don't even know your own show. 200 and some odd episodes in. You don't even know how your own show goes. And I'll be honest with you, George. If you've got any listeners left after this, it'd be a miracle. So, what are you hoping to play? I'll tell you what I'm hoping to play, cowboy. No Man's Sky. Once I finish recording this, I'm going to sink into the sofa like Renton in Trainspotting. And I'm just taking the portal with me. And I'm going so deep. My main quest at the minute in No Man's Sky, think I said at the top of the show, but I rambled for that long to myself. I don't even know what I've said anymore. Top tip, listener. Try talking out loud to yourself and a remote third party and imagining their conversation back to you while still trying to maintain the dialogue for however long I've been going. And you're doing pretty all right for yourself. Yeah. What a disaster zone. Anyway, what are you hoping to play? Like I say, No Man's Sky, sink deep in there, no distractions. Rachel's at work, get my video games to myself for a change, stick the Explorer earbuds in, and just go. And I'm really excited for this. I've been trying to get to the center of the universe. Today, it's going to happen. I've got the fuel, and I've got the distance to run right down. Some would say I saved that moment for today, and I bloody did as well. I didn't want to do it at 1 a.m. I didn't want to get there like blurry eyed. Like, no, I better turn it off now. I wanted to get there at a good time during the day so I can enjoy getting to the center of the universe. I've heard all sorts of things talked about in No Man's Sky lore, and I know on a few of the Reddits and message boards that there's probably going to be a high. I don't know, probably not, but I'd love for it to be a high frequency of player base there, like loads of them. I'm very excited, and I've built it up to be something it never is. I know ultimately it's kind of a way of the game resetting itself in its roguelike style of kicking you all the way back to the beginning of the universe again. I know that, and spoilers for a rapidly approaching 10-year-old game. But I've never done it, and I want to do it, you know. How many people that have got No Man's Sky have ever got to the centre? Not that many, I would imagine, if we went and had a look at the trophy metrics. I'm sure players owned versus centre visitors is actually lower than you'd expect. It was one of the ways of getting the platinum in its original launch, but there's been a few extras added on with some side trophies mingled in. I'm sure it's the same for the achievements over on the Xbox side of the camp. But yeah, very excited for that. Excited to see Rachel rip into a bit of Persona 5 sooner rather than later. Let's keep the journey alive. Let's keep the spirit alive. She's certainly firmly putting herself in the JRPG camp. But I can see why. It's a great way of enjoying the story with minimal Twitch controls needed. You don't need any Twitch reactions to do that. And some of them are timers, but still plenty of time. So there's so much there for her to get stuck into. I'm thinking possibly of getting a Super Mario RPG, the 1000-Year Door, or the N64 remake, just to be a palate cleanser for her, but within a game metric that she has shown to enjoy. Yeah, so that probably... Am I thinking of playing anything else? Well, if Rachel kicks off with that and the portal's not working, yeah, a hell of a lot of Vita, baby. I was even thought about getting the Switch 1 out of cold storage, and I've even bought an adapter for the PSP. Desperacy looks like this. And being a Persona 4 widower is actually quite a bloody good feeling, actually, to do something that you've enjoyed for all these years and find a medium with which your partner can enjoy it. There is no better prize, I don't think. Anyway, with all that, I wish you all the very best this week. I hope this episode has probably not the best episode you've ever heard, but do you know what, George? You made a solemn vow we were going to get a show pretty much every week. And you're a man of your word. And I'm a listener of my word, so I'm going to go listen again to all of this, about that catalogue and all your other solo efforts, George. And I shall then join the Discord and tell you how bad this episode was. A UCP Rotten Tomatoes score of 4. It even makes the Backlog of Shame look like the most insanely listenable episode ever put to the internet. And on that rather self-sacrificial comment, that's all we have time for this week, listeners. Always thank you for your time. Look forward to the pleasure of speaking to you again next week. Until then, happy gaming, and remember, there's nothing wrong with being given the unofficial controller. It's what you do with it that counts. Thank you guys for your patience, and we'll see you next week. Take care.